And now we pray. All right. There we go. Okay. You probably just saw me staring off into space for a few moments. That's because there's a slight lag between the Zoom stream and the YouTube live feed that we are feeding this to. But welcome and thank you for joining us. And let me go ahead and get our son of a secondary device making too much noise. There we go. And okay, this is going to drive me crazy, so I'm going to pull this out for a minute. I am receiving information from a number of sources at once. You are all witnessing this technical difficulty happen in real time. So, welcome. I'm going to try to sound less like a crazy person. And let me go ahead and screen share. Whoops, share screen, share sound, optimize video clip, movies, TV, share, and so here we go. Welcome. I'm going to try to sound less like a crazy person, and let me go ahead and screen share. Share sound. Share, and so here we go. Welcome. I'm going to try to sound less like a crazy person, and let me go ahead and all right, and welcome. So welcome to our show. Hello there. My name is Philip Lowe. I am the host and founder of the Not So Silent Planet. And for those of you who are, I'm sorry, I'm flustered. Let me take a deep breath, recenter. Hello. Welcome to the Not So Silent Planet. My name is Philip Lowe. I'm your host. For those of you who do not know what this is or have never attended a show before, the Not So Silent Planet is a recurring storytelling show that is dedicated to speculative fiction that is defined for our purposes as sci-fi, fantasy, supernatural horror, anything that takes place in a universe whose laws of physics operate in some way different than they are generally accepted to operate in our own. And every couple of years, you know, when I can get my shit together, I say, we've got the Minnesota Fringe coming up. Let's reach out and let's try to put together a bunch of previews of other shows that are sort of playing in this sandbox. And this is one of those years where, at least nominally, I managed to get that shit together. This is, as we're seeing, a work in progress. But thank you so much for joining us. And I am going to go ahead and attempt to introduce our first show. So there we go. Finally got that working. Okay, sorry. I just figured out where the source of the other voice was. I'm not a crazy person. Donna, are you out there?
I am out here, yes.
Hey, so good to see you, Donna. So first up, we are going to have a preview from Rose Gold, the description of which is thus: meet Jamie. She is an alcoholic, she is a survivor, and she is haunted by an unfathomable darkness. In today's meeting, it is her turn to speak. The reasons we drink can be terrifying. Donna, do you have anything you would like to say to set up this oncoming clip?
Oh, well, I might say the little bit of background information here is Jamie has just revealed that she was in a very horrific event. So this is about what shortly happened after that.
All right, that was incredibly cryptic, and I appreciate it. So let's go ahead. I will pull up Jamie's preview.
After the event, when I became coherent again, the cops started visiting me on a regular basis, to the point that we actually became caring friends. I even dated one of them on the sly for a little bit until it became too difficult to, well, keep up the veil of secrecy. Each visit was filled with admiration and pity and questions. Like, oh, what you lived through took so much courage. I bet it's difficult being the only one to walk away alive. Can you remember any more details? Can we ask you about some specifics? You understand this is to protect you. Turned out that there were some aspects of the crime scene that did not fit in, such as how I set the big cats ablaze and how the fire burned so hot that there was almost no flesh left on their bones. How I swore for 3 days when the coroner concluded that the victims died less than 12 hours before I stumbled into the bait shop. There were trails of a dark substance that resembled crude oil or tar all throughout the scene. Did I know how it got there? The only answer I ever had for their questions was, I don't know. But my brain, it would latch on to any little bit that I could remember, playing it over and over and over again, with each visit from the cops and each backhanded comment from my mom. And each time I saw my dad go to the shed for Southern Comforting, just this loop of guilt, wondering, what could I have done to prevent this? Why didn't I do more? Why was I the one left alive? Why didn't it take me? Why was I lying to the cops? Because I was lying to the cops. I mean, not lying so much as omitting. 4 human corpses, 2 feline corpses, 1 human survivor. 7 beings at the scene. There was an 8th being.
All right, and there is Donna K. Yarborough. We're kicking off the evening with some horror. Keep it going for Donna.
Hello, hello.
All right, so I almost don't know where to start because we've already had a fairly detailed conversation about this.
We're living in a deja vu.
So for those who don't know, Donna and I are also performing at the Kansas City Fringe Festival, where I hosted a panel discussion about storytellers doing horror shows, which a link for which will be going up in the coming weeks. So keep an eye on the Planet site for that. But so I guess, Donna, the question I want to ask you is, how's the tour going?
Oh my goodness, it is going quite well. I got the opportunity to finally do the show live. For clarification, most of us have been doing all these shows virtual because of pandemic issues, but I finally got the opportunity to do it live. And it has been just an absolute delight being in the same room with people and seeing them come along on your journey of fear. It is, I'm excited about it. Look, I'm excited. It's so good.
I can't imagine, because in contrast, I mean, this has to be surreal, previewing a show that is essentially you watching yourself previewing a show for an audience.
Yep, that circle of self promotion is always a little bit anxiety inducing.
the circle of self-promotion. That is exactly what tonight is all about. So let's keep it going for Donna K.
All right.
Yarborough with Rose Gold.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And coming up next, we have Manuel. Manny, you out there?
Indeed I am.
Awesome. So we are going to continue on with The Consciousness, the description of which is Reese, a struggling music student. Hey, a struggling music... I got a dog. We all know how this works. This ain't anybody's first rodeo. A struggling music studio decides to borrow some ideas from the archive consciousness of a dead composer. But Theodore Price is irascible, forgetful, and hiding a critical secret. Manuel, do you have anything you want to introduce this clip with, or would you rather we dive right in?
Fun fact, this was one of the first times we practiced without masks on. So it's a great clip. It was a great time, but it was a very weird thing to experience. And I think the weirdness of the show kind of complements that very well. So I kind of just leave it at that.
Awesome. You know, the weirdest thing I was about to ask you, like, masks, what do you mean masks? Like what, like fractal mask committee? And I was like, right. The last 18 months, masks.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of building on Donna's point.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, please accept one moment as I pull up Consciousness.
Capitulation! We're back where we started, just a little world weary. Get everything?
Yeah. God, how is this composing? I mean, don't you have to do like some exercises, sketches, anything?
Certainly not. God, you make art sound like work. So we can use this?
Yeah, and you said it was never published?
I'm not even sure I properly wrote it down. What you've got there is a bona fide Theodore Price original.
Thanks, that's awesome. Can't wait to finish it.
For the, what was it that you said, the tribute concert? Sorry, my memory isn't what it used to be. Did I say that already?
Yeah, all your stuff plus this new piece. It'll be awesome.
Reese, don't lie to me.
I am not
How famous was I really?
super famous. Anything coming to mind for the second movement?
Tam, no. I need a book. A leather book. Red.
Hey!
Write this down.
Okay, I am. God.
Leather-bound book. Red. Gold leaf lining the pages. Shit, I can almost remember it.
It's fine. I'll figure something out. You know when you get stressed, you start to overheat and...
I do feel feverish. There's this a buzzing in my ear. Maybe it's the stuff that ate my body. Maybe I'm remembering something that happened to my actual body. Don't shut me off.
I have to.
Please don't. I think it's like crying while under anesthesia. You know, it swells up and just sticks with me.
Remember, it's like going to sleep. When we wake up, we are still the same person.
All right. And let's keep it going for The Consciousness.
Shout
All
out
right,
to
so-
SuperCon 2019.
So I gotta say, so I have access to the OpenAI project, and one of the first things I did, like I'm sure everyone did, I plugged in a bunch of my own writing to see what the AI would do, and I was like shaken by the degree to which it was able to give back cogent passages and mimic my own idiom. And I think
Wow.
this is one of those things that we have lots of weird anxiety surrounding this. That, like, well, the creative arts, this is the one thing a machine could never replicate.
I don't
And
know.
now we're watching more and more machines are getting better and better at replicating this kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know. I want to ask, as someone who lived in the world of this play for a while, do you have any thoughts on that? Any particular angst of your own you bring to that narrative?
Oh, totally. We talked about that at length. Um, one of the biggest things in the play is that each character in that place has a rather large monologue at some point, and we each have our own viewpoints on the use of technology for the arts, um, our own personal gripes with how we deal with human emotion, and how this consciousness, the use of a consciousness to kind of communicate through that, or to have that be our gateway to talk about these emotions, can be a hindrance, but can also be a really weird way to humanize AI and humanize technology, to a very uncanny valley way, like a very uncanny valley Twilight Zone-esque way. um, and my favorite insight into that conversation was actually from a character that wasn't even in this clip. It was from another character named Ellis. And his whole thing is that he exists as a memory for Theo. We see one perspective of this person, and we see him again later on in the play, but it contrasts so much with what we see for the majority of the play, that we end up thinking, his whole point is that we end up thinking, just how accurate is this really? Sure, it can analyze patterns, it can say what it wants to, and it can emulate as much as it wants to, but where's the limit? um at what point does the symphony actually become a symphony? Is it just repetition, or is it actually putting in artistic creativity, or is it just a formula? And and I think that conversation was probably one of the most exciting ones we had around this play. It was so fun.
Well, and then you have to enter the question of defining, like, what is creativity and what is formula. I mean, the whole thing about
Hmm.
creating machines that replicate humans is that we're machines too. It's just a question of levels of complexity, and
Hmm.
as machines become more sophisticated and more complex and that line blurs, I don't know. I definitely hope. I don't know what I hope. I don't know if I want to see this play out, or if I want to die before I see this play out.
I think I think the most interesting thing about what I did for my characterization for Reese in this play was that there came a point where I realized, and this threw me into a whole crisis. There came a point where I realized Reese is more of an AI robot, whatever you want to call it, than Theo. Theo is so expressive. He's so emotive. You know where he stands on things. And Reese, for the most part, just kind of tries to weasel his way out of things sometimes. And it can almost come off as robotic. Um, and that comes to a head at one point in the play, but it's something that it threw me into a whole crisis, because I'm like, oh my god, there's so many theories I can build off of this. Like, what if? And I asked the playwright about these things, and obviously she was like, "Manny, you're crazy." But there were so many times, and I was like, "What if? What if Reese is the consciousness, and Theo is actually the one, and like trying to write a symphony?" And it's so many. There's so many layers to it in terms of what the capabilities of AI are, and what the capabilities of humans are. We don't think about that sometimes, and it was so fun. It was so fun just thinking about those things.
Well, it's an absolutely dynamite premise, and I'm definitely looking forward to catching it. So,
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your process
yeah.
with us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, next show, this is a group who was not able to join us in person, but was able to send us a clip. And this show is For a Limited Time Only by the Feral Theater Company. The description they sent me. After getting the unlimited bread deal, Arlo and Val are both stuffed and ready for the check, but their server doesn't bring them their check. They bring them more bread. They keep bringing them more bread. A romantic horror comedy about the hard truth that nothing lasts forever except maybe bread. For a limited time only. Let me bring that up. And here we go.
Hi, my name is Isabella Dunseith, and I'm a company member with the Feral Theater Company. I was also the director of our show For a Limited Time Only by Daniel Perlman. This show is amazing. It has love, it has bread, and what more could you need out of life? In this scene that you guys are about to see, Val, played by Sky Turiello, and Arlo, played by Christopher Jenkins, are reaching the end of a long meal, and they've gotten to that point in the night where they're discussing their relationship and kind of where they're at with that. And the server, played by Daniel Collette, is acting a little sketchy, a little weird about the check situation, but I'll let you guys see for yourself how that all ends up. So without further ado, this is For a Limited Time Only. I hope you enjoy.
We should not have eaten this much.
Probably not.
The get your money's worth, that's how they get you.
Hell of a deal.
Hell of a deal. But it's gonna ruin the whole night.
You're not having a good time?
No, I am. It's all downhill from here. I mean, we're both gonna feel bloated and sluggish for the rest of the evening. And we'll get home and plop down in front of the TV and watch the latest episode of something we'll only pay attention to halfway because the other half is on our phones. I mean, we're not gonna have any energy to do anything else because we just ate our weight in carbs. You're also going to use that as an excuse around 11 o'clock to say you're too lazy to fuck me. I'll say, well, you could just eat me out. You'll make a pun, which I won't laugh at, about how you're still too tired from dinner, and then we'll end up masturbating next to each other to our preferred style of porn. Lesbian BDSM for me and foot shit for you.
Are you saying I don't eat you out enough?
Yes, but I'm also saying that I think unlimited bread deals cause more trouble than they're worth. I am digesting that thought now and formulating that opinion.
I can eat you out more.
Do it right now.
What?
There's no one else here. Get under the table. I'm kidding. I mean, if you want to, I won't stop you.
Well,
you're too full from dinner.
Ha ha. Look, if this is a serious conversation, I want to take it seriously.
I'm kidding.
It's okay if you're not. You always say every joke has a little bit of truth.
I do say that. It's true.
Do you feel like I don't eat you out enough?
I said yes earlier. You haven't eaten me out since?
I mean, I can eat you out more.
Good.
I can't tell if you're messing with me or not.
When in doubt, eat me out.
Oh, that's a personal conversation. Here you go, folks.
Thanks.
I hope I'm not overstepping my place, but if one partner's not pulling their weight downtown, then
Okay.
Where's the check? The check?
You want the check?
Yeah, we asked for the check.
You asked for the check?
We did.
Oh my God, you did! I am so sorry. Forgive me. I'll go get that right now. Be back in a jiff.
If it's that big of a problem, I want to work to fix it, you know?
We definitely asked for the check.
What?
Like, more than
yeah.
once.
Yes. Cut them some slack, honey. It's a stressful job. They just forget. It happens.
We're the only ones here.
Yeah, but it's the end of a long day. They've been on their feet. A bunch of other people probably also took advantage of the bread deal. It happens.
Yeah, still annoying.
Fair enough. So, what do you want to do tonight? I mean,
I want you to fucking eat me out.
Totally. I'm in 100%.
Then maybe more bake-off?
Accent?
See, that's a good bake on this golden brown. Looks a bit half-eaten, though. Did you eat this before you brought it out here?
Oh, I did.
Why would you do that?
It looked good. I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. Yeah. I don't like it. I love it.
Oh, thank God!
You are star baker.
Oh, thank God! I'm going to go call me Mom.
Oh my God. Why did I eat that? Why would you let me do that?
It was for the bit.
Yeah, but why do you let me do things for comedy that I wouldn't do otherwise?
I don't know. I feel like I do a lot of things for comedy that I wouldn't do otherwise.
What is taking so long?
I'm having a good time.
No, I am too. I just don't like waiting.
They said to relax.
Is it just me? Or is this place more creepy than romantic with no one else here?
It's a lot of space for activity.
Well, I'm just ready to go home.
Hey, folks. A little bit of bad news. I am so sorry.
What is
We're actually having a little bit of a problem with our computer right now.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry, but your check is going to take just a little bit longer. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It happens.
What's with the bread?
For you, as an offer of apology.
Oh, you really don't have to.
It's already made. No trouble.
No, we really couldn't eat another bite.
If you don't, it will go to waste.
Well, we'll eat it later. We don't now.
Okay, great. Well, I'll go check on that check for you. Once again, I am so sorry.
Okay, that interaction was a little more strangely pointed.
Are they fucking with us?
No.
Because I think they're fucking with us.
If their computer's broken, they literally can't do anything.
But is their computer broken?
No.
I'm just asking. I mean, is it? We're the only ones here. We don't know. I mean, maybe that's how they get their kicks.
I highly doubt that's the actual case.
They could do the check by hand. Computer just makes things faster.
Well, when they come back, we can ask them that.
Do you have any cash on you?
Yeah, I have enough. We can ask them when they come back.
Okay, thank you.
I'm having a good night.
I am too. I'm ready to be out of here, you know?
Yeah.
I'm ready to be home.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, thank you. I love you.
I love you too. What do you want to do with the bread?
Is there room in the box?
Not really.
Then we'll just leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly not our fault if it doesn't get eaten. You know, we've made it clear we're full.
Yeah.
It's not on us.
Yep, I know.
What the fuck?
What?
I am so sorry, folks. Computer's still on the fritz, but I have more bread.
Why? Why do you keep bringing us bread?
You ordered the unlimited bread deal, silly. $5.99.
Yes, but we're done eating. Okay, we're clearly done eating. We're not going to eat anymore.
If you don't, it will go to waste.
We don't care. No, please, bring us our check.
I would if I could. I am so sorry.
Then write it by hand, okay? We'll pay with cash.
I can't do that either. I am so sorry.
Why not?
Because you can't have your check until you finish the bread.
What?
If you want your check, eat the bread. Looks like you two are still working, so I'll give you some more time. Just holler if you need anything.
All right. And there we go. Let's keep it going for a limited time only, acting out the worst nightmare of every socially awkward individual. Moving on to our next show. Our next show is the Not So Silent Planet Where Dark Things Sleep. Jeff and Margot, are you out there?
Yes, we are out here.
Awesome. There we go. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the Not So Silent Planet is a show that the core is an open mic, but we do many different kinds of events through the year. And this year, come listen to 3 regulars from the country's only recurring open mic dedicated to speculative fiction tell you about places of which you've never dreamt. I am going to go ahead and pass the torch right along to our storytellers. Jeff, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here you go, man. The Not So Silent Planet Where Dark Things Sleep.
This performance is sponsored by the Infinity Corporation. Learn more at www.theinfinitycorporation.com. Now that you've joined the Infinity Corporation team, it's time to review your benefits. We're offering you the deal of a lifetime. Literally. As a valued member of our family, you'll have the opportunity to turn your time directly into cash. Here's how it works. Days of your life go into our temporal matter conversion unit, where they undergo a patented process of total transformation into items from our award-winning product line. We then sell the items and pass a portion of the proceeds back to you. A day in your 80s wasting away in the nursing home might be converted into a can of our popular Ego Be Gone spray. A lonely, boring Sunday staring out the window at the rain could become one of our brand new Infinity Entertainment cubes. You have thousands of days in the bank, probably tens of thousands, and let's be honest, you're not doing much with them anyway. With our acclaimed Days to Dimes program, you can turn them straight into dozens of dollars for rent, student loans, even medical bills. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now. George paused the video and held out a clipboard with a cord-attached pen laid neatly along the top. Sign here, he said with a smile. Hakim reached out, then hesitated. Can I have time to think about it? He asked. Oh, the Days to Dimes plan isn't optional, George responded with a sympathetic look. Sorry for any confusion. The clipboard remained motionless in front of Hakim's face until he took it, scribbled his name, and handed it back with a quiet sigh. Excellent, George said cheerfully, removing the form and tucking it into a manila folder. He then pressed play on the remote control, resuming the video, where Susan was continuing to gush about the resources offered by the Infinity Corporation. Now that you've signed up for our Days to Dimes benefits package, let's talk about our We Care Satisfaction program. Here at the Infinity Corporation, we believe that our team members shouldn't be managed by bosses, but led by loyal friends who are connected to their people with an unshakable bond of trust. Our developments in neurocommunications technology have finally made that ideal a reality. Thanks to our We Care network system, cold, clunky bureaucracies like human resource departments are obsolete. Rather than having you submit complaints, reports, or surveys, we simply utilize our electrochemical morale scanners to monitor your thoughts and channel them directly to management. Hakim blinked. His mouth felt dry. Already, George was holding out another form on another clipboard. And now, the second portion of Where Dark Things Sleep is Margot Prescott. You are muted, Margot. There you go.
Yep, got it. Right. Abigail, my friend called. Hey, lost you there for a second, she said, slight worry in her tone. No, I'm good, I said, looking back at where the man was, but no one was there. Did you see someone standing there? My friend shook her head. No. Are you okay? Yeah, I guess. I'm more drunk than I thought I was. She nodded. Yeah, let's get you home. We walked the long mile back to my place, and I told her she could crash if she wanted to. She declined and said she would have her boyfriend pick her up. When she left, I made sure to let my dogs out, wash my face, and go to sleep. I crashed on the bed with my dogs cuddled up against me. Still thinking of that man I saw tonight, I kept telling myself that maybe you just have a really messed up drunk imagination. I finally felt myself begin to drift off, and the image of the man began to fade away. I had just hit the edge of sleep when my dog suddenly began to growl beside me. Half awake and groggy, I assumed she was just growling at the neighbor dog, like she usually does. I peeked one eye open to look over at her and realized something was off. Way off. She was staring up at the ceiling, growling. So I thought maybe she was just growling at the shadows. I don't like to sleep in the dark, so I sleep with my TV on. And I thought maybe she's just growling at the way the shadows hit the fan. So I got off my bed and I flipped the light on. I wanted her to see that there was nothing going on, nothing to be afraid of at all. I turned around, and I saw she was up on all fours. At this point, she wasn't growling. She was snarling. She was staring at me, but I knew she wasn't staring at me. She was seeing someone or something that was pissing her off. The hairs on my neck began to stand on end. I was filled with the most painful dread. That's when I heard it. Someone was breathing right behind me. All right, thank you.
All right, and let's keep it going for Jeff and Margot. So hey there, you two. It feels a little weird to talk to you about this process when I'm sort of on the inside of it with you. But But I did want to ask, since I think this is a first Fringe show for both of you, am I right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So I want to say, coming from the open mic scene, how do you feel about this different, this larger sort of canvas? What's your experience of it?
It's cool having somebody to do music.
That's right. That's a good point for me to mention, that this show is also has a composer and is going to be fully scored with an original soundtrack, if that presents any sort of appeal. What about you,
Yeah,
Mark?
I'm more used to like winging it with the open mic sessions. So this is a totally brand new experience where I'm like, okay, I actually have to be serious with this.
Yeah, the I mean, the whole appeal of an open mic, it's the rawness, it's the spontaneity, right? It's the sense that you're seeing something that might have been written, 20 minutes ago before the person walks on stage. And Fringe is a different animal for the most part.
Yeah.
Cool. It's like, all right. Would you say positive, negative? I'm happy to needle until I get a fully verbal response from you.
Oh yeah, it's positive.
Writers.
It's been positive for me.
Positive, definitely. Yeah. I don't want to talk over Margot or anything.
No, I don't want to talk over you either.
But yeah, no, it's really fun. It's the first time I've ever done something like it, and it's cool to get out into different areas.
I've still never found the rhythm of a multi-person conversation over Zoom.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, and then you start talking, and they start talking, and you talk over them, and you're like, "Oh no, sorry, you go first." And they're like, "No, you go first."
There's never the easy, casual people talking over each other rhythm that happens when you're sitting around a bar with people, for example. Yeah, I mentioned that you may have noticed the beauty of virtual backgrounds is that you can put yourself anywhere in the universe, anywhere you can imagine. And I've chosen to put myself in an Irish pub. So thank you, Jeff and Margot, for joining us. The show is The Not So Silent Planet, where dark things sleep. And moving along to our next preview, that this is another person who was not able to join us in person, but was gracious enough to take the time over a week to pin together a bunch of rehearsal footage that is pretty cool. This is Delicious by Kendall Kramer. Their description is, "This dance is and is not. Actually, it is and is not. Actually, it neither is nor is not. A multimedia dance journey through the tetralemma with light projection. Ambiguity is delicious." Ladies and gentlemen, please pause for a moment while I bring up the preview for Delicious. and let's keep it going for Delicious. I am particularly regretful that they could not make it tonight because I have many questions about what they did, not least of which are like technical producer questions, including things like, where did they get those handhold lights? And I want 14 of them. But moving along, Alexa and Lori, are you guys out there?
Yes.
There we go. It's like, all right. So this is Alexa. Oh, I should have gotten a pronunciation on this name before we started. Babakanian? Am I close?
Very good. Yes.
Awesome. Alexa Babakanian with Dark Lady, the description for which is Amelia Bassano, a Venetian dark hidden Jew, Shakespeare's Dark Lady, depicted in his sonnets and the first published woman writer in England, embarks on a dialogue with William Shakespeare, posing the question, to be or not to be, Amelia or Shakespeare. Through their testimonials and historical clues, Amelia is liberated from the shadows of history, and we're left asking, what if the greatest author of Western civilization was a credited dark woman and a Jew? How would that have inspired girls and women then, now, and beyond? All right, Alexa, is there anything you want?
Well, I'm in a comical situation where this is like gibberish radio. I'm hearing just little bits and pieces. But I have to give a lot of credit to Lori. She's playing both Shakespeare and Amelia, and I scored all the music, and I'm playing the minimal chorus parts, which I guess people are seeing this. I'm not seeing it. But okay, let's go.
Awesome. I say let's go. Pulling up my share screen, and ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves in whatever way seems fit to you for Dark Lady.
Greetings to you, audience, and to you, Lady Amelia Bassano. Yes, greetings to you all, and to you, Master William Shakespeare. Pray tell, why are we here? To pose a question. Of whom? Of ourselves. Ah, I see. Then please proceed, and I will follow thee. I am grateful, my lady. I will pose the question to the audience and thee. 'Tis odd, our meeting here to pose a question publicly. Pray tell, what is the year? We have both been laid dead for ages, I fear. No matter, please proceed with heed to the question for all, if you please. To be or not to be? Haven't you used those words before? We all beg, steal, and borrow from ourselves and others. 'Tis those who do it with skill that succeed. To be or not to be? Me. Whether 'tis nobler in the minds of men, would the words be by me, mine? Would thee by opposing end them? In thy image I roam free, in the cloak of a man, to write of adventure, sex, chivalry. My cousins in my family tree, all theater royalty, creating masks, setting stages, dance, and music. Anonymously in the shadows I weave tales of ladies of virtue and commedia dell'arte, of Christians, Moors, and Jews, and crowns, queens, and kings, and battles, of comedies and tragedies, and girls playing boys, and boys playing girls, and stories of mistaken identities, Italians, Danes, and Scots, some of which I am, some I lived, and some not. To be or not to be me?
That is the question.
My Hebrew roots and dark complexion were but a vex on me. Yet in my plays, they thrive, you see. No woman could write of such things. Religion and domestic virtues were the only allowed direction for a woman writer's affection. Nor could I expound too high or low. Mediocrity was all females could bestow upon the road.
Unsex me, uncage me, unhinge me, release me from the shackles of history. Her story is my story, our story, a man could only be. Under his cloak I did deceive and weave my web artfully. Unsex me. Deny thy father, thy name, the darkness of my skin, my sin. My words like none the same could only live and breathe and thrive these centuries. Not even anonymously could I collide with the man, the myth, the forest you see, the legend, the business, the national treasure. Unsex me. Who am I to trounce on the hero, a shero hiding in his story? He gets the glory, and I my stories for all to read. A fair exchange, for as you see, could not have been, did fate not unsex me. Unsex me.
All right, and let's keep it going for Alexa Babakanian and Dark Lady. And this is, I gotta say, I think this is another show with just a fantastic premise. It's, and especially being a historical mystery stitched to a ghost story, and I am so here for it. And I gotta say, so my impression is this show is largely built around your answer to the question of who the Dark Lady of the Sonnets is. But do you want to lay out a bit just exactly what that mystery is for people who may not know?
Well, I tried to stick to the facts, believe it or not, and there are a lot of clues that if you were going to check off boxes of what you needed to know to actually write Shakespeare's canon, you'd have to know about falconry, you'd have to know about the Kabbalah, you'd have to know about Commedia dell'arte, music, so many thousands of musical references, and her family were the musicians of the royal court that were brought over from Venice. Anyway, it's a lot of stuff, and I tried to deliver these facts in a way that was sort of digestible with the music and the groove and this sort of banter. But I don't really answer the question. I kind of hide behind a what if, because I know there are so many naysayers that would just brush off the premise. So I think that I leave enough clues that there have been all these other people that have been considered to have written Shakespeare's work, like the Earl of Oxford and lots of other people, but Ben Jonson, whatever. But she actually has more going for her as a candidate than anybody else. So I hope that at least it'll get you to examine her and her work and, look at the work through a different scope, perhaps, now that you've learned a little bit about her in this piece.
So in the play, I get the desire to sort of hedge your bets and not alienate potential audience. And but this is, this is just you and me and whoever happens to be listening right now.
Yeah.
What is the answer in your
Yeah.
heart about the Dark Lady of the Sonnets? What do you think?
I think that I read a lot of stuff, and I don't know if I sent you this, but in my research I started this last summer. I was just tooling around and I came across this BBC but documentary of these archaeologists who discovered that there was a missing skull from Shakespeare's tomb, and they found out that this skull had been placed a few miles away from his tomb, and it was the skull of a woman in her mid-70s, and they actually did a facial reconstruction. And I'm not kidding, you guys can go look this up. If you look up the portrait of Amelia Bassano and the facial reconstruction, it's like uncannily the same face. And so I know that's not proof, but I'm just saying that was like, okay, I'm starting this play that you guys are hearing is part of a bigger play, which is very meta, which is where I, Alexa Babakanyan, discover all these facts, and I, break into the tomb, and I release the genies, the souls of Amelia and Shakespeare. So in my heart, I believe why not her? Like, we have more proof of her than anyone else, and she was in all the right places at all the right times. So yeah, I kind of believe it. Silence. Crickets are chirping.
So, and I gotta ask you, Laurie, what's your experience been walking into the middle of this historical mystery as an actor? What's your sense of what's happening around you?
I came into it. There's, as Alexa said, there's so many theories of who wrote Shakespeare's plays, from the Christopher Marlowes, everyone that she mentioned, all of that, and I also grew up hearing that Shakespeare was a Black man, so they're coming into it. I kind of was like, I'm open to any relevant facts, honestly. And so being a part of this piece, by the time, just being in it and performing both roles, I think Alexa is being a little kind when she says that the piece, leaves it open. But I feel like if you watch this piece and like have it wash over you, I think most people will leave out of it leaning more toward to Amelia Bassano's side rather than, this kind of bard that we've all come to know and some of us come to love over these last 6 centuries.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. That is Dark Lady by Alexa Babakanyan. And moving along to our next show, Dina, are you out there?
I am.
There we go. So Dina's show is called Triple Bypass, 3 10-minute plays about living for death and dying for life. That is a great subtitle by Hardly Working Promotions. And the description for this one: consisting of 3 short plays, we take the audience on a journey of emotions ranging from fear and hate to delight and joy. 4 of my favorite emotions. Our video production is fully staged, and it is also available in a captioned version for the hearing impaired. And Dina, I understand that you have an introduction for us.
I do. One. So I really appreciate being on with you all this evening. There's such a great lineup of shows. So my show is exactly what it sounds like. It's 3 individual vignettes. They all have the theme of life and death, but the genre is slightly different for all of them. So the second piece is what I have dubbed in genre as ethereal fan fiction. The scenario that occurs couldn't occur in life as we know it.
That's awesome. I love ethereal fan fiction. I think that should That should be on your tombstone. That should be on everyone's tombstone, is ethereal fanfic writer. I think that's great.
I don't know if it's really a genre. I might have made it up, but I'm going with it.
Awesome. And do you have anything you want to say to set up this clip, or shall we dive right in?
No, just go for it. Just play the trailer. It's brand new. I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves to watch me pull up screen share on the Zoom window and hit share, and then pull up the clip and find it in my Windows folder. As I scan through the names, I have found it, and get ready to enjoy the Triple Bypass trailer. I swear I just double-clicked it. Hang on.
I'd offer you some coffee, but I can't drink it anymore. I can barely go to the bathroom by myself anymore.
Oh, your family hasn't...
My family, I don't want to see any of this or know anything about this choice.
Your actions are reasonable?
I think...
Well, I guess I was just trying to be too perfect, if you can imagine that.
No, there's no such thing in show business.
Okay, well, I was trying to be too healthy.
Oh, are you sure it wasn't too thin?
There's no such thing in show business.
Because you're set to stun.
Pathetic. Oh well. Killing you and the crappy pickup lines you wrote in on means something won't be a disappointment for me today.
Relax, you silk-spinning seductress. Smile, babe. How about a romantic song?
No, wait, stop! Songs never work. She's not looking for a bandmate.
He's not a mate. He's a meal. I'll take a little dinner music.
Oof.
All right, and let's keep it going for Triple Bypass. And I gotta tell you right now, the thing I'm gonna fixate on is the living for death and dying for life, because I've been doing a bunch of fringe festivals over the past year and a half, and I have to say I have seen a lot of I've seen a huge upsurge in horror and dark satire. I have seen very few romps or anything I would call like a giddy, uplifting farce. I don't know if this represents where we've just all been at in this time, but this is another show that just really seems to leap out at me as, you know what, let's try to tell something light about death. And, I don't know if you have any thoughts about what led you into this.
Yeah, I love 10-minute pieces. I find them so powerful. They have to tell, these little pieces have to have a beginning, middle, and an end. You have to say what you mean, and you have to do it immediately. And you have to come up with a resolution and make people engaged in this very short amount of time. And one of them I had produced once before, and the other was just a vague idea, and I ended up having to really whip it out in time for Elgin Fringe. And the other I was actually inspired by a documentary, and I realized all of them have this life and death theme, and they could go together. And that was the birth of Triple Bypass. I played around with a lot of titles, and that one just ended up being the winner with something that went with the whole theme of, you know, you have to catch people with the attention immediately, explain where you're at and what you're doing. And the way the show progresses is that it starts, the first piece, actually, I have a warning for everybody. The first piece deals with some extremely heavy issues, very dark, and it's very disturbing. The second one is supposed to kind of make you go, and make your heart happy. The third one is a rowdy, bawdy, raunchy comedy.
Well, I need to express that I am shocked that a show called Triple Bypass would deal with heavy issues. So, you know, that's just where I stand emotionally. But I also got to say, I respond to the thing you're saying about the whole appeal of 10-minute plays being how compressed they are, in that I mean, I'm a short story writer, and I definitely have the sense that, like, you know, in a really great novel, there's some throwaway passages. In a short story, there are generally not throwaway passages. And I think I feel the same way about short plays. I don't know if you can speak to that, but there's something about the density and the intensity of focus that I think really demands something of you as a writer.
Oh, absolutely. And some of the feedback I got from Adelaide Fringe, because this has been going virtual at about a dozen Fringe festivals, and I'm pretty encouraged. So some of the feedback I got from them, I'm going to mess up the quote, but it was something along the lines of, "This is how to tell a story, beginning, middle, and end, in a short span of time that's meaningful." And it was kind of a little aside, you know, shows that go on for 13 seasons drag you along. I'm talking to you. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, 13 seasons. Yeah, it's fine. Yes, absolutely. I don't mean to come down on one side of the aisle or another. I also love the sprawling epics, but there's something about short form that's I find compelling in a way that doesn't exist in long form. And that's another reason I am really looking forward to your show. So keep it going for Triple Bypass, and I hope everyone will take a chance to check it out. And then
Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Dina. Our last preview for the evening. It is happening. We are coming on that time. We all have to embrace it or make our peace with it in some way or another. This is Vagabond by Two Griffins Theater. So James and Chris, are you two out there?
We are.
We're here.
Awesome. Description for this piece is: a boy wakes up in a strange desert. He doesn't know where he is or who he is. The boy begins his journey across this strange land searching for answers. He meets many creatures and characters on his quest. James and Chris, do you folks have anything you want to say to introduce this clip, or do you want to fling yourselves on that grenade?
Well, I'd just like to say that do you have anything you'd like to say?
No.
The trailer comes about at the halfway point through the story and deals primarily with another character, not our title character, but
you'll see.
You'll see.
Awesome. I love the cryptic intros. Here we go. Share screen. Boom. I am like a machine with this. I am hitting the share button. I am pulling up the trailer. Please keep it going for Vagabond.
Down the river, around the bend, into a place that you've never seen. I tell you a tale or two today. And maybe I will write a tale for you.
And let's keep it going for Vagabond. So I have to say, watching that and combing through your publicity material, the thing that leaps out at me is the symbiotic relationship between this play slash film slash experience and music, that it's fully scored by a band that you're a part of. And I have to ask, where's the beginning and end of that process? Is this something that started in music and blossomed into another form, or is it the other way around? How does that work?
That's a long story, man. It would take a while. The idea for the script came while I was in the band, and we wrote a song, and it was called Vagabond. So it started there, but that band was a long time ago, okay? So over the course of many, many years, I tried to figure out a way of fleshing out and making it a complete script. And our theater company, Two Griffins, was going to stage it. But then the pandemic hit, so we decided to film it. And we reunited the old band, and the band performs the original soundtrack for Vagabond.
Awesome. And I have to say, so this was originally conceived of as a live performance experience, right? Because looking at that trailer too, it looks like a very film focused project in its current form. That the what I saw is not something that I would expect to see on a stage. Was that deliberate? Is this something that just sort of came out of this strange moment for you, or was that like a conscious? Yeah,
we adjusted. We morphed into another genre because we couldn't be on stage anymore. Nobody could be on stage anymore, and we didn't want to stop doing what we wanted to do. We wanted to continue our art. So we just said, let's film it instead. And so it's filmed mostly where we live, in and around the city where we live, with some special locations that we discovered along the way. And we just kept going. We didn't want to say, oh, let's shelve this project and not be actors, not be producers, not be directors, not be writers for a whole however long it was going to take, year and a half. So we just found a friend with a camera who graduated from film school, and he's fabulous, by the way. And we worked on it for 5 months, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long it took to put the whole film together.
And it actually opened us up once we decided that we were going to film it. It's a cinematic piece anyway. So once we were able to film it, it just opened us up as far as locations and moving it around. On the stage, you're confined to what you can do on the stage. And though we appreciate that and how much we can accomplish on stage, being able to move it around to various locations and film there just opened us up completely.
Yeah, and I particularly love that we didn't want to shelve this project, because that feels like the refrain of every artistic endeavor of the past year and a half. We all had these ideas and this enthusiasm, and we didn't want to shelve it. We wanted to find a way to make it move forward. So I'd like to take that comment and freeze it in amber and make it our mission statement for the evening, because I think I think this whole thing has been, this has been artists who,
because we're married and we live in the same house, so we could work together with no fear of contracting COVID. Our son is in the film, so we kept it real small.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's great. In the words of Dr. Ian Malcolm, life finds a way. And I think that's the mission statement of the evening for me, and of the Fringe this year and last, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you guys so much for sharing your time and talent with us tonight. And so please keep it going for Vagabond. Yes, thank you. Please keep it going for Vagabond, and
Thank
please
you.
keep it going for all of the shows tonight. That and every artist in this festival who looked at this swelling tsunami and said, "Yeah, I'm still gonna produce a Fringe show anyway." I think I truly, to the core of my being, believe there is something profound in that, or horribly foolish and unwise. And those things are by no means contradicting each other. I think they're both true and wonderful. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope that you found something you didn't expect to find. I hope you saw a show that resonated with you that you might not have checked out otherwise. And otherwise, I hope that you will all stick around and that I will see you on the Fringe. In my head, this was totally seamless, but I'm going to shift us into our outro before I cut this feed. But thank you to everyone for joining us tonight.
Story holds 1,000 seeds, a proverbial pomegranate, a jewel of possibilities, a not so silent planet.
This is me seamlessly cutting the feed. You are all deeply impressed by it.